Well, good evening and welcome, everybody. And thank you so much for joining us for another wonderful session of the Kula Growth Club. And this evening, we've got a wonderful special guest, Lerato Dontashe, a pioneering woman. We're still in Women's Month, and it's been a mind-blowingly amazing month. And again, we're looking forward to hearing to Lerato as she talks about her story of how she built a platform for inspired game changers. Again, my name is Wisa Kabaka. I'm a partner at Hyper Group, and welcome to Kula Growth Club. We have these sessions every bi-weekly, every fortnight. We're excited to again bring you another one of these sessions. And it's been a special month this particular month because we've been talking everything but women. If you are joining us live for these sessions, you are more than welcome. We are broadcasting live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So all you simply need to do is search on Facebook or YouTube hashtag Kula Growth, and you'll find many of our broadcasts. If you are watching and you want to go ahead and connect with us on social media, you can find us on Twitter. It's at Entrepreneur Traction, at Hyper Group, or at Official SM Tax. But do remember to hashtag Kula Growth. These broadcasts are live on YouTube and Facebook. So please feel free to use the comment section or the chat sections on those particular platforms to engage and connect with us. But remember to use the hashtag Kula Growth. If you have any further questions about how you can join us for these sessions every week and to get those weekly reminders, do send us an email on webinars@smtax.co.za. But also along the way, if you have questions for either myself and our guests this evening, you're welcome to go ahead and use that mailbox to connect and engage with us. We have a simple agenda this evening. I've gone through our broadcast rules. I'll be quickly going into unpacking some of the objectives of why we are hosting these particular sessions and what outcomes are we ultimately looking to achieve with these particular broadcasts. I will do then a very quick introduction of the Kula Growth Club. And this time we don't have our usual celebrity endorsement, but we have an amazing recommendation for some wonderful music for you to listen to. We'll then transition to thanking our sponsors and just talking about how important their role is in enabling these particular live broadcasts. We'll then get to Bongiwe Beja. She's back once again to give us the SMTech SME, the SME insights. And this week she'll be theming along the ways of why you too can become a game changer. We'll then transition into our conversation with Lerato Dontashe, the co-founder and CEO of Nexatel, as well as Thriving Network, and the journey she'll share with us. And as we end this evening, we'll tell you more about what's coming up next, not only with the Kula Growth Network, but also as well in some of the other sessions and webinars that we're hosting along with SM Tax. In case you are tuning in and you're wondering, you just stumbled upon this hashtag Kula Growth, what are we trying to achieve with these particular sessions? Well, it's fairly simple. Okay, we've convened for new possibilities. We all know that we've been directly affected by the COVID environment, and some of these realities have meant that we need to rethink how we grow our businesses through this uncertainty. In South Africa, where I'm tuning in from now, we've just gone through level 2, and we're coming out of the space, and things are suddenly feeling like they're getting closer and closer back to being normal. But it's never going to be the same normal because we've now gone all digital. Part of what we want to achieve with this is that we want to try and help you generate new ideas, fresh perspectives of how not only can you grow your business, but how you can continue that growth for the long run. But most importantly, we are creating a peer support network. The Kula Growth Club really is about entrepreneurs helping other entrepreneurs to grow. So again, along with our partners, SM Tax, the Hyper Group is really making sure that we build this particular platform for you out there to see you grow and take your business further. Part of our commitment as well to this is that we want to really see a broadening of economic participation that connects every young person, every woman, and every person with the opportunity to connect to the economy and help them build their businesses. And it being Women's Month, we also believe that every month is Women's Month in the economy. So again, please welcome and do join us and do connect with us so that we can keep you in line with our conversation. The background to setting up the Kula Growth Club has been very simple. Like I said earlier, it's really about an entrepreneur community that's there to create a platform for support for other entrepreneurs like no other platform that there is. We are really a dedicated platform for small business owners who are fully committed to business growth. But along with this, we want to make sure that you can gain a little bit of insight that helps you begin to start building your business. And again, it's a platform for knowledge exchange. So those who've been before to share with those that are coming up on the entrepreneurial success journey. And with that, you're certainly that you create longer term success for small business. The community has been established as a member benefit community with a focus on tangible value, value creation, and access to affordable business services, and non-partisan commitment to the SME advocacy. We are truly committed to growth, and this is why for this week, instead of our usual celebrity endorsement, we are recommending something a bit different. In the screen in front of you is a video link to the latest music video by Pharrell Williams and Jay-Z, and it's called Entrepreneur. And we're definitely recommending this particular video for you to go and check out because it's nothing but inspirational. So for anybody tuning into this session, do take note, take a screenshot, take note of the URL. It's bit.ly/entrepreneur_Pharrell and enjoy that 4-minute video. We're not going to play it this time around, but primarily we really definitely want you to go and check it out. And these Kula Growth sessions are really beautiful in the sense that we get to work with some wonderful partners. And again, with this in mind, I want to thank our partners in this particular platform. Firstly, thanks to DPK, the production team behind what you are experiencing right now on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're tuning in to this particular session. So thanks to the team from DPK. Also, thanks for our partner, SM Tax, who's been with us on this journey all along. So thanks to Bongi, Butules, Sivan, all the team members at SM Tax for the amazing support that they bring to this platform, and they continually want to support the growth of SMEs, especially in South Africa. So again, if you are looking for tax accounting advisory that is digital and that is ready for the digital age, do head on over to SM Tax. And from my side, I want to thank my team from Hyper all over the continent, whether you are in Nigeria or Kenya or right here in South Africa. I want to thank the team for really supporting the effort and being behind the delivery of these particular sessions. So thanks to the Hyper team as well. And with that in mind, I want to now bring into the conversation our wonderful collaborator and partner, Ubongi Wepeja. Ubongi is the CEO of Startup Services at SM Tax, which again is a wonderful partner here with us on these initiatives. Bongi, welcome and good evening.
Thank you, Vu, and welcome to everybody that's joined us this evening. Very exciting to have another Kula Growth webinar that is live, and we're focusing tonight on how to become a game changer. And from an SM Tax perspective, I actually want to chat about how the game has changed and this theme of resilience that we are seeing in our entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs at SM Tax, particularly when the COVID-19 pandemic hit us, had to then figure out how to pivot and how to stay relevant. And so you've seen 3 types of resilience. Organizational resilience, where you're figuring out your business model to see whether or not can I still trade during this time with all the restrictions that COVID-19 presents us? And then we've seen leadership resilience. And this has been quite tough on the entrepreneur because they've had to make some tough decisions, either that will impact their bottom line or their staff. Things like retrenchments, salary cuts, letting people go. And so you've really had to focus on how do I keep active whilst making these tough decisions. But the really special type of resilience that we've been able to partner with entrepreneurs in the SM Tax family is financial resilience. And because we offer digital solutions, it means that entrepreneurs have real time, insight to their business. They know exactly what their cash flow is. They know what the expenditure line is doing. They know what the revenue line is doing. And in that way, they can do proper risk planning. We have what we call business support services, where we onboard you onto a digital platform and we integrate it with your bank account as an entrepreneur. And so at any given time, an entrepreneur knows how to navigate their business and truly build a financially resilient business. I'd also obviously like to touch on the Startup Services Division. As Vu has mentioned, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Startup Services Division at SM Tax. And with startups, it's not necessarily resilience, but courage, the courage to start. And it being Women's Month, and I'm also a woman, I'm encouraging any woman that's out there that's thinking of starting an enterprise and doesn't necessarily have the courage to start up. There's a link on the screen right now that I'd encourage you to visit. It's www.smtax.co.za/startup. And what we've done, because we understand the SME market, is we've put together a nice bundle that helps you to start up, for you to take that first step and have your business ready. We'll do a company registration for you, open your business account, share with you your share certificates and your BEE affidavit, and even do a tax clearance. But we don't leave you there. When you're part of the SM Tax community, we'll invite you to Kula Growth Club so that you can have webinars where we teach you how to become a game changer like we're doing tonight. And also we have masterclasses on some of the more technical aspects of your entrepreneurial journey. I truly hope that you'll enjoy tonight. If you want to get in touch, please use the link that's on the screen right now, or my email address is bongiwe@smtax.co.za. Thank you so much. Over to you, Vu.
Thank you so much, Bongi. Again, it's always so incredible the work you guys do, and obviously also seeing from the community of entrepreneurs that you guys work with some of these key important lessons that again can help improve everybody else's success. So hopefully you've received Bongi's feedback and are now ready to build your business over to the next level. So again, thank you, Bongi, and we're gonna keep the program moving because we have a wonderful guest speaker this evening who's gonna share with us her journey of insights, which again will only go to enhance what already Bongi has shared with us already this evening. Thank you so much, Bongi.
Thank you.
So we're gonna need to kind of go back to my screen and so that I can give an introduction to Lerato. So Bongi again touched on the importance of kind of really thinking about working towards unlocking value and again focusing on growing your business and becoming that change maker that we all want to be and have in mind. And this evening we're incredibly fortunate and blessed to have Lerato Dontashe, who is the co-CEO of Nexatel, but also the co-founder of Thriving Network. Lerato is a passionate tech and media entrepreneur, mentor, and along with her husband are co-CEOs of the Nexa Technologies, a digital media pioneer in her own right, and having set up a game-changing magazine and app called Thriving Network. So hopefully some of you have downloaded your Thriving Network app from the App Store. She's obtained a marketing and management diploma and certificate in systems design, and her entrepreneurial flame was ignited when she quit her very first job as an insurance underwriter, and she began her journey of entrepreneurship at the tender age of 21. And she's now gone on to build a multi-million rand business that employs 30 people and specializing in mobile and web design, digital marketing, and building platforms, which includes the amazing platform that they've built, which is Thriving Network. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing Lerato's story and hearing what she has to share with us in terms of the journey that she's had to kind of go through. So again, with that in mind, welcome, Lerato. I think our producer says is looking for your screen. I'm not sure if you are sharing your presentation with Dirkie on the other side. So he's just waiting for that. You've got it. Okay, you winning, Lerato?
Yes, ready.
Okay.
Hey, good evening.
Welcome. So thank you for coming. Thank you for making time to join us. I know for me, this has been a while. You and I have been chatting for,
Yes.
for a while to kind of get you on the platform, and I'm grateful to know that you're now here. I'm looking forward to your story, and obviously looking forward to chatting to you afterwards, and also fielding some questions from the audience that's watching us on YouTube and Facebook. So do make comments on your chat box on Facebook and YouTube as Lerato is talking, and I'll make sure that we pass and we kind of create that dialogue with her once she said the story. Over to you, Lerato.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Vu. I am so honored to be on this amazing Kula platform. I mean, really, this is the type of platforms I advocate for. Digital is the future. I'm so happy we didn't need to drive to a real studio. This is some fancy stuff. I'm so excited to be a part of the session this evening. Okay, so I just want to say hi to everybody. My name is Lerato, and today I will be sharing a bit on my story, my journey, and how did I start my businesses, both Nexital and Thriving, and what inspired me to actually even start Thriving, and where do I find myself today, and where do I actually see the future of business as a whole, and our own platforms that we're driving to serve the small business market. All right, so I'll start with the beginning. So I'm originally from the township of Mamelodi, which is on the east side of Pretoria. So Mamelodi is home for me. And this is a place where I actually was nurtured. This is a place where I was given basic skills. This is a place where my father really just, demonstrated his own entrepreneurial flair, and my grandmother. So this place means so much to me because this place represents home. So growing up as a young girl in Mamelodi, there was a lot of challenges, both physical and emotional, from the state of where we really just come from. Generally, you don't see a better life for yourself when you are younger, and because of the surroundings where you come from, and a lot of people just generally being settling for what we call the standard way of living. And I was truly encouraged by my grandmother because she actually was an industrialist. She used to sell literally everything. She had her own little store in Mamelodi. And that store is the same store that actually took all her kids through school. And I mean, for me, seeing that in her as a young girl, I was even inspired. I mean, I was already sewing, clothing with her because she was also a seamstress. And I would take some of these pieces that I'm selling and take it back to my school friends and some of my friends at church. So she really was just an instrumental person in my life in terms of providing that extra inspiration and the introduction into someone that actually works extremely hard for everything that she has. And then, obviously, I was raised in a house of two with my mom and my dad, very different personalities. My mom was a very church-going woman, and my dad was, a free spirit, and he just really just enjoyed anything that he wanted to really just do. I mean, he started in a formal environment of employment, and then later on decided to leave his job. Out of all the siblings that he had, he's the only one that literally took the risk and quit his own job and started his own construction company. And I think as a young girl, seeing that, and during school holidays, weekends, we used to help him, put envelopes together. We used to sit around the table and we used to help him, fill out the admin or help him even prepare payroll, so that he can pay all his workers every bi-monthly. So seeing that as a child was quite amazing because already they activated that spirit in me that, oh, so there's another chapter to it. So I don't need to just prepare myself to go to school so that I can acquire a proper education, but I can actually go to school with the intentions of learning to be my own employer, or my own boss one day, and employ other people's, as I've seen my dad do. So that was like I think for me, it was the most important thing that I witnessed as a young girl. And with my mom, she was more of an introvert, but she also had her own side businesses that she did. And even with that, we used to help her, package sweets and package homemade chocolates that she used to make and sell it in the community. We would go door to door selling those sweets, and people would come to us after they've tasted the product wanting more. So just that formative years in my life where I actually got to witness my parents actually doing side hustles and my dad focusing on his business, that was extremely instrumental in me being the woman that I am today. So just to also give you another story from my, years in Mamelodi, when I was about 13 or 12 or 13, I started a local community initiative for young girls. And basically every single school holidays, these young girls would come through to my house, and I would actually teach them self-confidence and how to speak English. So that was a great way for me to also learn how to interact with a large crowd, to interact with parents, convince parents to actually pay joining fees for their kids to participate in this local modeling pageant that I had created. But the most interesting thing that I actually like reflecting on, even now as I'm older, is how I actually went into different tuck shops and created like a distribution, some form of distribution agreement with the local spaza shops in my area for them to keep some of my tickets, and for them to sell these tickets for me, so that the parents can actually buy it, or the family members or just local community members can buy these tickets and actually come and join us at these pageants. So that was quite interesting. And obviously, as I grew, I understood that more, that, that was actually part of my entrepreneurial flair. So there was quite a lot that I learned from Mamelodi. I learned that I need to work hard for anything that I wanted. I learned that, if I want something, nothing is going to be given to me. I need to wake up every day. I need to show up. I need to do something. And I cannot sit there waiting for someone to come and hand it to me, because that's not going to happen. And the picture there on the left, sorry, on the right, it's just me. I was 18 there. And why I want to highlight 18, because that was the moment where I knew that I'm definitely not going to settle for working for anybody. But at that point, I needed to earn a living. I needed to decide if I'm going to study. And at that point, my dad's business actually just closed, and he couldn't actually afford to take me to school anymore. So at that crossroad, I had to obviously make a decision to go and look for employment. The nice thing that I was actually doing part-time waitressing when I was in school, and one of the customers actually offered me a job, and I was like, I'm not quite sure, because I didn't think I was going to go into formal employment. I thought I was going to just take a gap year until my dad figures out his own, issues and how he's going to help me go back to school. But, I think once I thought about it practically, I was like, oh, this could be a very good gateway for me to actually go out there, really experience what the work life really looks like, and if that's something that I'm willing to even settle for. And, at that moment, I actually accepted his offer. I went to go see this man, and he then offered me a job. It's at an insurance underwriting company. And there I really learned everything from administration, customer service, and sales, and just how a business really just operates. Because obviously I was inquisitive. I asked a lot of questions. I really just wanted to know what on earth is happening, because if I'm going to run my own business, I have to have an idea. I need to understand how everything generally works. And I was that young girl at work, asking all the questions, getting my work done on time, just because I really was just this inquisitive ball of energy. And just as I continued working there, I think within the first year, I had already decided that no, this is not going to be for me. I am not really geared for full-time employment. I learned a lot. And I think towards the end of the second year, I then decided that I'm not going to continue. I need to figure out really what my life is going to be about. And do I really want to be stuck in this job forever? Or do I really want to pursue my other aspirations? And I had already written a couple of business plans, but I had no direction as to what it is that I wanted. And at the same time, I was also studying. So that's also another thing. I was studying, which I was paying for my own studies because obviously my dad really just couldn't afford to continue carrying me. And once I completed my diploma, I think it was around about the same time, the 2 years, I then decided that, of course, I am going to leave my job. Plus, my then boss also really just introduced me to the business of underwriting. And he was actually, because he had already left as well, and he was just explaining to me the benefits of actually starting my own brokerage. But I knew I couldn't because I did not have a license. I had to go through accreditation. And I was like, oh, it means I had to work there for a while for me to actually get all these accreditation. So then I thought about it. I was like, no, but you have the licenses. I have the skill. I can sell. I can do the administration. If we could collaborate, I could pay you 5% of all the revenue that I make. And now that I know we make 10% as opposed to 1% from, selling the product, I would rather just sell the product. So just to then fast forward, I then decided I'm going to tender my resignation. My parents were like, yes, we want you to go out there and explore, but really it's too soon. And I'm like, no, come on, you two can't be telling me this. I need to go out there and explore my I need to go and explore. I need to go figure out my own journey. I need to fail a bit. I need to, and if it all fails, I'll just go back to employment because I already did my diploma in marketing. So I then settled with my dad that, okay, as long as I'm able to work hard and provide basic living for myself, he'll support me where he can. And then I should just go. I mean, I had no liabilities. I had no children. I wasn't married. So this was the perfect time. And then somewhere in the story, I then decided, no, I need to go pitch my boyfriend because he was also telling me about he wants to run a business. He's also in between working somewhere and deciding if this is what he wants to do. So, and that would be roughly 2007. And that's where I got to pitch him. I said, hey, let's start a business. And in that picture at the top left, this was just a year after we had started the business together. So he agreed. We then went and we started and registered this company, and we looked for small offices because we're like, no, we're not going to have our business registration in Mamelodi. We're not going to have it where you live. So let's just go rent out a small space. And we found a little sublease where it was extremely low rent. And we had to convince the landlord that we are capable of paying the rent. I mean, I was 21, he was 22. And so he allowed us to work there. We paid him 2 months deposit and we got the lease and we started our business. That was the day that we started in 2008. So we started in the insurance industry and we continued working in the underwriting industry. And I think within the first 6 months of opening that business, the company literally went bust. We had no money to continue running and it was a nightmare. And we were just wondering, what on earth are we going to do? I mean, we both left our jobs and we need to figure out a plan. And luckily for him, he had a background in selling technology equipment. And we said, okay, so let's start a business where we can sell what you used to sell. And we then started our business. We then registered a new company called NXATEL, which is Nexatel. And Nexatel really just started as a reseller of ICT hardware and services for the longest of time. And round about 2013, we really just re-strategized, and we saw the opportunity for us to also be participating as a services provider. And there was a license on offer, and we wanted to buy it. And luckily at that time, we had savings, and we decided that, yes, we're going to acquire the license in order for us to be able to trade in the telecommunication space as a services provider. And that's just where it all started. So basically, why I actually even started Nexatel is that Nexatel was my training ground. This is the business that actually taught me everything that I think I know today about business. So you never know enough. You continuously learning on this journey of business. So Nexatel literally taught me how to manage stock, manage employees, strategize, branding, so it's how to take care of your customers, how to invoice. This is the company where I actually learned literally everything: how to manage your finances, your cash flow, how to make sure you pay your taxes on time so that you can actually continue having opportunities with other organizations. So as we continued building our Nexatel brand, in 2013, I think, we then experienced a huge loss in the business, and we were defrauded a huge amount of money. It was a devastating time for us because we thought our business is going down. We're going to close our business. We have to retrench all the staff. I mean, at that time, I think we had about 70 employees, and we're just devastated. We just couldn't understand what had happened and how did we not foresee such troubles coming into our business. And at that point, we had two options. We either have to sit there and sulk, or we need to adapt very quickly and find a rebuilding model. And at that point, we then decided that we will retrench almost 40, I think 45, if not 50, of the employees that worked with us. And we decided to retrench them and downsize our business and go back to the drawing board and focus on what matters. And at that point for us, what mattered is, what is the future of communication? And we're just conceptualizing a whole lot of things. We're conceptualizing what would technology or what would communication look like in the next 3 years. We knew it was, mobile enabled, it was app enabled, and it was web. We had to do everything to ensure that we align ourselves with where communication was literally going. And then that's, I think, in about 2015, we decided to then start on this journey of building our own voice cloud platform. And we just literally started with one component, which is the voice element of it, and tested it out, gave it to a few clients, and it really grew from one customer to the next. And I think it just continued taking a lot of customers giving us feedback for us to really just modify it and make it even better, which is what we find today, where we really just positioning ourselves to be a unified cloud communications platform. We are targeting all businesses, and our services really is just to enable businesses to run the whole communication on the cloud. This is both voice, video meetings, team chats, and SMSs. So all of this you find in our newly modified Nexatel cloud platform. And I think in a month or 2 weeks ago, we were also nominated, or we actually won the Nedbank Business Ignite 2020. So that actually gave us a whole, boost as a business, feeling so excited about the journey ahead. So in my journey, running the Nexatel brand, I became very lonely, and and it's not just me, including my business partner, who's my husband. And we really just needed to find like-minded individuals, around us. And for us, it was, how do we use technology to find other people that look just like us, that run businesses, that have similar challenges, without having to drive around and go to multiple events. I mean, I'm really stoked about this event itself, and I think that's where the birth of our brand, which is the Thriving Network, which I'll talk about a little bit more as I continue, really just started. But the other thing that made us want to start the Thriving Network platform was just an opportunity to be heard. At one point, we felt like, we wanted a platform where we could talk about our products, we could be interviewed, and, somebody could just share our story on their platform. And I think one or two platforms said no, they're not so interested as yet to, interview us. And we're like, no, that's not fair. And we pursued it the next year, and it was like, no, we will continue, putting a profile on the side. We'll come back to it. And we thought, okay, maybe there's something that we're not doing right, or maybe there's a problem with, the current media houses, or the way that they see sharing of entrepreneurial stories. And that's how really just the birth of Thriving started. We started it as a platform for entrepreneurs. And sorry, I just want to go back. So before I go there, I'll go into Thriving. So just to introduce my family. So this is Ngaba, my spouse, and our two daughters. So in everything that I do, I have to make time to be a mom. I have to make time to be a wife, because as much as I work with Ngaba, who's my partner, he's also my husband. And sometimes running a business with your husband is a bit challenging. And also managing a household with your children, it can be too much as a person to really just be able to juggle it all, and to still run a business, and to still be able to, be you, and, and be everything to everybody. It's a challenge. But just to also continue building where I was going with the Thriving. So this is where then we started to say, we want to start a platform that could create a voice for other like-minded people. Like, I wanted representation. I wanted to see people that look like me on the cover. I wanted videos that could talk about ordinary South Africans that are working extremely hard to run businesses, and just really a community of entrepreneurs that could share similar stories, because we learn through each other's experience shares. So just this particular slide in itself, you can just see the passion that really went into why we wanted to start the Thriving magazine. So in the first image there, it's the team and I was sitting, burning the, midnight light out, just really trying to meet what we call the print deadline. So print is another monster on its own. I really learned a lot, and I quickly failed, and I quickly understood what I should not focus on and what I should focus on. And as you can see in the middle there, we were busy packaging it ourselves because our printing deadline was late, which was going to affect our distribution. So the last image there is just myself being so thrilled with the final product that was actually supposed to go into the different retails that we had signed agreements with. And just also sharing a little bit on the retail store, the retail partners that we had signed different agreements with. It was really difficult to put together a compelling argument why they should actually put this Thriving magazine on the counters. Like, why should they be on the shelves? Why should they entertain this new magazine? I mean, we got rejected 6 times. On the 7th time, I think that was the last try to say, okay, let's see what happens here. And they actually accepted to distribute our magazine. And we're so thrilled that, the little stores that were able to exist in, we were there, and we had the distribution deal. And it was good enough at that time, to get the product out there so that we can really just live the purpose of what this magazine was supposed to do, to be the voice for the voiceless, to really help other entrepreneurs that want to either learn new information through another entrepreneur story, or through our various mentors. I mean, we had signed up 100, different writers and different contributors that was, some of them were just doing it as I'm giving back to build this country. I'm giving back to help another entrepreneur. And they were sharing some of their tips and tactical strategies in how to build or how to really manage a business, in all aspects of managing a business. So this looks all easy, but it really wasn't. Just to really even get the individuals that actually graced the first issue was a nightmare. It was extremely hard, just to get all of them firstly in one room. And I think the last minute, just before they had to meet together at the venue, I think they changed their mind. They said, no, they're not going to be a part of this. And this is not they didn't think about this correctly. And we were just panicking. And I think we're just so grateful. They were just grateful that, we felt like, we were favored. God just really opened up favor for us with Dawn. I mean, we just called Dawn and we literally poured our heart to her and said, Dawn, you need to help us out. You need to convince the other dragons so that they can actually join us on this first issue. And I think within about an hour, she called us back and said, okay, guys, everything is back to normal. All the dragons will meet you guys tomorrow on site, and you guys will be able to continue with this first issue. It was really tough. I won't sit and lie about it. It was extremely tough for us to really put together the first issue and put these 4 individuals into one room. But it was, I think for me, what I learned a lot is that you should never give up. You should not even accept no from anybody. And if you are going to get a no, just go back and knock. Maybe just knock 3 to 4 to 5 times, depending on who you are trying to convince. And we really did knock, because we really did not even know any one of them. We knew one person that linked us to the 2 that linked us to to Dawn and to Polo. So the first person helped us acquire Gil and Romeo, and we then had to convince Dawn and Polo. And it was, it was a challenging time and a test of resilience. Are we going to back down and accept accept defeat and just say, oh, we tried, we will just have to cancel this issue, or just look for anybody? We wanted to launch the mag with a statement, and we wanted to create presence. We wanted to, I guess, create relevance at that particular time, create the right buzz and the right attention, so that the brand that was so unknown can have traction. And I think at that time, it was quite interesting to see how we were received and how the many entrepreneurs went. And that issue itself that was available at all these stores was actually our bestseller. It actually sold out, and we had to get all the other subscribers that actually wanted a copy of the mag to just go online and subscribe. So it was a great strategy for us to also test our digital platform to see how users will respond to it. What were some of the glitches that the users were going to complain about? And it also gave us some great nuggets for us to actually fix and to make the platform more user-friendly. So in our journey as Thriving, we have really met very various entrepreneurs. We have published literally 9 mags inside the Thriving Network platform. And each and every single one of these covers have a unique story behind them. It's all linked back to resilience. It's all linked back to, believing in yourself, believing in your own story and why you're doing what you're doing, because the bigger purpose for me was I wanted to create a platform where I could share my story. And because I was rejected, I then decided, let me create a platform that could not only tell my story, but tell hopefully millions of other entrepreneur stories that look like me, that come from the same environment, so that we can create representation and we can create a brand that other entrepreneurs would be proud of. So every single cover has its own story. I mean, if I look at even the top 50 female founders, it was so difficult to get all 50 of them to agree, for them to agree to send us their images to participate in this initiative that we're trying to do to create, promoting women and celebrating women in business. So when all of that kind of like came together, it was an aha moment. So these were some of the best read and bestseller issues that we had for Thriving via digital and via our retail distribution. But then because media is a cutthroat industry, we kind of knew what we're getting ourselves into, but we did not anticipate how short-lived it would be for us to actually go and print. So we made a decision to say, before we kill this brand and suffocate it, let's transition immediately into a digital platform. And that's exactly what we did in May of 2018. We launched the new version of Thriving, which is still available on the Google App Store and the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, and also available on web, which you can just go on a normal web browser, thriving.network. You can access all the tools, all the magazines from the previous issues. You can connect with other local entrepreneurs. I mean, we've got chat, we have videos in the platform. We have, I think, is it Marketplace? We've got Marketplace, which is not yet live. We're still working on it to connect, market opportunities amongst entrepreneurs. So some of the great things that we were able to do, which for us enabled us to inspire a lot of people, was, and including ourselves as we continue on this journey, was to create our own online TV. And the interesting one was the virtual mentorship. Last year, we were able to draw close to about 67 different entrepreneurs that eventually mentored about 1,000 entrepreneurs in total through the platform for the 67 minutes for Mandela. So that was quite a great milestone for us to pull a community of different business owners in South Africa that were willing to, share time, share knowledge through the Thriving Network platform and help other game changers really change the game. So some of these things for us has been just developing based on user preference, user feedback, and I guess we'll just continue doing that and making the platform even more robust and opening it up into the market. So since we've launched Thriving, we have over 4,000 registered platform users on the Thriving Network app. We have 200 registered mentors. We have a community of 80,000 followers on different social streams, and about a 10 million plus digital reach with all our videos and the content and our blogs that we've distributed online. I love this story a lot. So this is one story that warms my heart in this journey of thriving. So this story is about Hetty and her husband, Papa. and they were featured on one of our best retail seller cover. These two really just leveraged of thriving. So when we heard stories like that, we got a couple of emails and a couple of letters through the post, people just appreciating the content. But these two for me were very special. And why I say special is because through the Thriving Network platform, we were able to help them obtain or convince their potential landlords to get space for their business. And that really just gave us a smile to know that what the work that we're doing is not only becoming a voice for other entrepreneurs. We're not just creating content, but we're also creating hope. We are helping entrepreneurs get knowledge. We're helping entrepreneurs get opportunities. And yeah, we're giving entrepreneurs hope, and we're helping them through our story really realize how great their stories are. And it's just been so phenomenal just to be able to meet so many local business owners. I mean, as I reflect back to 2017, just before we launched the platform, I felt like I only was a Pretorian. I only knew people from Pretoria, and I needed to increase my network. I needed to know what's happening outside of what it is that I'm doing, because most of the time you tend to work so much on your business that you don't go out and leverage of the platforms that are out there. I mean, that could really just propel you and help you thrive in whatever it is that you find yourself to do. This moment here for me made me realize and just appreciate the journey so far. This was, I could call it, is it a little bit of a nod? It's a nod. It's a nod saying, I am doing something that I'm passionate about. I am writing my own narrative, and I am really on the right track in terms of where I see myself in the future. So when I got this Inspiring 50 nod from, I call it a nod from the community of STEM, the STEM community, for me, it's the best community because I love technology so much. It has enabled me, and I'm using it now to enable others through the various things that we get to do. So it was a proud moment. It was a moment where, I mean, I even shared with my own dad, and I'm like, wow, look at me now. There I was, scrawny and unsure what it is that I wanted to do. Here I am today, and I have, I have been able to move from this place to here just with one thing. I know nobody's going to do anything for me. I need to work hard. I need to be extremely dedicated. And just those three things, that's what my dad used to say: work hard, be focused, be dedicated, has literally allowed me to be here today, so that I can be, one, an inspiring 52, a game changer in my own right, and continue writing my own story. So I don't think my story is done. I think that there's quite a lot to do, not just here in South Africa, but in Africa, because the potential is enormous, and it is really just up to us, the entrepreneurs, to tackle the everyday issues, whether we use technology or we use our own talents, however way we choose to tackle this. But we really just transform. We write our own stories. We tell our own stories. I mean, at Thriving, that's what I'm passionate about. That's the key thing that keeps me continuing on this platform, wanting to share other people's story, and through that, hopefully it can reflect back to them, seeing how great they really are, because the future is really for us. It's for us to take, and it's for us to conquer, and to not be afraid of any obstacle that can come our way. I mean, it is daunting, I know, if you are wanting to start a business. I mean, we still get these messages coming in from our Facebook page or our Instagram page, or even on email, entrepreneurs asking for help, asking for advice, not knowing what they're supposed to be doing because they have so many ideas. But some of them are stuck. And I hope that the story that I was able to share today kind of gave you insight into my life, my world, that I really just come from humble beginnings. I come from the same disadvantaged environment like most of us do. And I never use that to complain or to be a victim of, where I come from. I took that and I allowed myself to learn, allowed myself to work even harder. And I just told myself that I will go out there and I will change the game. And hopefully I do one day, and I can just meet even more entrepreneurs across Africa. So I think, yeah, that's my story. And I just want to say thank you to Hiva and SM Tex for this amazing opportunity. Over to you, Fu.
Wow, wow, wow. What a story. What a story. Thank you so much, Lerato, for you've literally inspired so many people already. And actually, there are some comments and some questions that I picked up from generated sessions. And I think for anyone tuning in, again, you are tuning in to us. This is a Kula Growth Club, and tonight you've been listening to the story of Lerato Dontashe, co-founder of Nexatel and the Thriving Network. So the first one, Lerato, some people, they seem to want to understand something about Mamelodi. I don't know. Well, hey, I don't know if, like, maybe we need to bring us some context about
Okay,
Mamelodi. Because
right.
clearly we don't have an audience just in South Africa who has the context of these places. So when you describe Mamelodi, and let's say even for the people from Mamelodi who are listening, how would you describe Mamelodi? Because I think people are trying to appreciate this adversity
Yeah,
that clearly you've had to overcome, but they maybe want to get a better picture of
right.
it.
So Mamelodi is a township. It's a township. It's like any other township in South Africa. It's vibrant. It's very colorful. It's gassy. It's real. It's where a lot of people come from. We all come from townships. So yeah, Mamelodi is a place I call home, but mostly it's a cool, chilled, crazy. Yeah, it's a cool, crazy place that I call home. I just love Mums. It's a township in Pretoria East, if they're not familiar with
In Pretoria East in the Gauteng province. Yeah.
Gauteng province in South Africa. All
Yeah.
right, okay. So yeah, it's in
So
Pretoria.
if you ever fly into South Africa, please hook up with Lerato and say I need a tour of Mamelodi because I need to kind of
Definitely.
get to experience and see this.
I'll take them to
The
Chisanyamas,
other
and
question that
they sell the nice quarters.
a lot of township lifestyle. So again, I think for anyone who's tuned in and really finds themselves coming from a community that's downtrodden, that's kind of facing a lot of kind of adversity. Whether you are in a shanty town in Kenya or shanty town in Nigeria, again, I think the story of how life is about just grit and tenacity. And I think to that point, Lerato, can you just tell us? I mean, for me, I think give us like a succinct package of some of the key principles that you live by. What are the values ultimately that you take and that you live by?
So my values, straightforward. I work hard. I don't expect anything from anyone. I honestly think that you have to stand up and do things and not be entitled. So that is one thing that my dad used to drill in my ear. Nobody owes you anything, baby. So I think I'm a very, loving person. I trust a lot, which means I'm honest. Um, yeah, I'm just a go-getter. I'm a free spirit. I'm a go-getter. I don't allow failures to define me. I just allow failure to transform me and make me think different and do different, because that's exactly what failure is. It's just a chapter to make you reflect on things that you can improve about yourself in any situation that you find yourself in, but it's not meant to put you back where you come from. So in the context of even where I grew up in Mamelodi. I mean, literally, my house was just a street away from the shacks, So I grew up seeing lack. I grew up seeing poverty around me. And it was literally up to me to make a decision. I left every morning to go to the suburbs because my parents could afford to take me to these multiracial schools. And I mean, you can still do that and continue making bad choices for yourself. So I still had to make my own decision to say what exactly it is that I want to become in the future. Where do I see myself and how I'm going to make that happen? So I live by this mantra: get up and do it. Nobody owes you anything. And do not feel sorry for yourself, because you are worth it. Make a mistake. It's okay. We live to make these mistakes, but you are to learn from them, and it should just make you a better person, not the worst version of yourself. So yeah.
And again, that's a very nice segue, especially during this time of dramatic shift. We've received a question from YouTube coming from Amanda Kambule. Welcome and thank you for tuning in, Amanda. Amanda says to us, what would you advise someone who recently lost their job, his or her job, during the pandemic, and also ways to survive, and what is doable in business currently under the current environment to generate income?
Yeah, good one. Yes, hi, Amanda. Thanks for the question. So I would, nudge you to look at some of your passions that you like, first of all, if it's something that you can do. But I would also encourage you to use e-commerce platforms. There's so many free e-commerce platforms that you can create products, or you can actually buy products, package it, put it online, and then ship it off to the client. So this is the time where people need to be tech savvy. Teach yourself something around technology, whether it is to do social selling using social media platforms or using e-commerce free websites. There's quite a number of free, they call it dropships or dropshipping platforms that you can actually plug yourself, third-party marketplace like your Take-A-Lot. There's also places like Macro, where if you are gifted in creating products that are unique that you did yourself, you can list them on the Macro marketplace. So there's quite a lot of avenues for you to distribute digitally. As a person, you can create content by even getting e-learning free. There's a lot of e-learning platforms, and create your own e-learning platform. You can create a YouTube channel. So there's quite a number of various things that you can leverage of technology. I know data is going to be the big problem, but if you're not going to be streaming, then maybe put products on the cloud, or find a third-party marketplace where you can host your products and they can deliver it to the client.
Cool. Again, now it's Women's Month, and we have a great comment here from Tsietsi Lepoto on Facebook. Tsietsi basically comments that it's really important and key what you spoke about in terms of tenacity. So everything being Women's Month orientated, what would your advice be to the women out there? I mean, if someone's listening to this and has really heard your story, how should they take your advice? How do they move forward and by taking your advice? What is key for them to remember as they juggle motherhood, aspiration and ambition, working in a business, either working with a partner or working in a male-dominated environment? What would you say to women in South Africa?
Firstly, I would say you have to believe in yourself. You are worth it. And why I say that is a lot of women down talk themselves. You know, they think they're not good enough, or I mean, just general things at work. They don't speak up enough. They don't think they can go and approach their bosses for an increase. So a woman has to bet on themselves more than anything. You have to believe that you are good enough. You have to believe that you are better, and irrespective of whether you're competing with men or you are just competing in a space, you just have to go out there and do things for yourself. Do things for yourself, and believe in yourself, bet on yourself, because I think that's the most important thing. If you don't believe in yourself, any other advice that you might get, I believe it might not really even help enough. So believe in yourself. You're worth it. You can do it. You are creative. You are smart. You are able. So do it.
What I wanna talk about is how I met you guys. Okay. um, in Santon and in Joburg, you and Naba, and in fact, I must say, those pictures, Chief, what happened? You guys, you've been through a lot, eh?
Yeah, yes. Did you see it?
I saw. I think it's your cooking. I think let's blame your cooking.
Okay, I won't say it, but maybe.
So again, since that time, I mean, I remember really how intensely active your team is, and how really driven you guys have been to storytelling. And again, I mean, most recently, we worked with you in December, I think,
Yes.
with Seed Stars and telling those stories. Why is storytelling so important for entrepreneurs and their success? What have you found to be the excitement about the importance of telling a story?
So I think storytelling is important because it creates representation. One, it's important for people to see people that look like themselves in an environment. It's very important because a lot of people create, barriers through them thinking that there's nobody else from where I come from that can do this thing that I'm imagining to do. So representation is very key, and also giving people a voice, because people need to tell their story. There's not enough stories that are told. Even through these popular mediums that we know of, your multi-choice and the likes, it's not enough. We still have to tell the amazing stories of Africa, because there's
Mm,
greatness. There's greatness in Africa,
yeah,
and
and then
not
I want
enough
to
is being said.
yeah, and I mean, I remember, I mean, pre-COVID, just pre-COVID, you were talking about the exciting new projects you guys are about to do in Kenya. Again, looping that into Nigeria, etc., etc. Um, here's the opportunity to kind of rethink this, and again, continue to reach these audiences. How does the future of COVID and a future of digital, as it combines with storytelling, what do you see? How does it match up going forward?
This this platform that you've
It's
created
awesome,
is,
eh?
I
Thank you,
even told you,
GPK.
it's like, we don't need to reinvent, it's copy and paste. This is amazing. This is the future of content. This is how content should be. I don't need to leave my house to go to some studio. You're creating the valuable content that every entrepreneur can go back, reference it, and actually watch or actually join live. I mean, that's what TV is. TV
Yeah,
says, sit at home, watch me at home. This is better than TV. I mean, for me, I'm just blown away. This is the future of what
yeah,
driving content live and archiving it back for people to review it at a later stage. I love it. On
yeah.
demand and live streaming. That's the best.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I knew you'd be impressed. So again, as everybody can tell, we have not only Lerato this week, but in 2 weeks' time, we have Ruth Kamau from Ikaya Lodge, who will be, it's Tourism Month in September. So we'll be telling the story of tourism. And we have my wonderful friend, Ruth Kamau, joining us to really share her journey and her experience. I mean, again, I know our producer is so excited about your story, Lerato. You've literally inspired the team as well behind the scenes. But again, come back in 2 weeks' time to tune into the story. So Ruth Kamau will be
Definitely.
with us as part of Tourism Month from the 10th to 12th of September. So on the 10th of September, at the same time, right here on YouTube and Facebook, you're welcome to join us again. So I wanted Bongi to come back, and before we kind of look to draw out, Bongi, key thoughts about what you've taken away from Lerato's talk. I mean, I know you and I are from the Eastern Cape, so we know that hardship.
Yes.
We know that hardship. We are
We
polished
definitely
now.
do.
Forget the COVID afros, but we are polished now. Yeah. What are your final thoughts, kind of like on Lerato's talk?
I felt that, Lerato, you shared such a real, relevant story that's inspiring for entrepreneurs. And it reminded me of why we exist even as SM Tax, to prevent that very first experience that you had. You had the courage at 18 years old to decide to enter this entrepreneurship journey, and your business failed. But yet you managed to pivot and create two beautiful businesses that are sustainable and are helping others. And I think that if an SM Tax existed back then, in that
Yes.
first business, where you were still figuring out things like tax, things like managing your finances, your cash flows, and the like, and you had a digital accountant to
Wow.
lean on to drive that part of the business, you would have seen that it could have made a difference. But I'm really, really glad, despite that, that today anybody who listens to your story that decides, I'm going to start my enterprise because somebody from Mamelodi, somebody from Eastern Cape, Mthatha, somebody out there, whatever story they read on the Thriving Network, managed to start and managed to continue. It's not just about starting. It's about being resilient. It's about pushing on. It's about not accepting the no's and moving forward. So thank you. Beautiful, beautiful story. And really, really privileged as SM Tax to work with you, Vu and Haiba and Lerato. Thank you.
Awesome.
My pleasure, Bongi. Thanks. And look, we're only starting. I mean, it's only the beginning, and as we build momentum, Lerato, you and I certainly will have a chat after this.
Definitely.
We have some exciting plans for the platform, expanding and taking it further, and again connecting it to Thriving TV. I mean, many possibilities exist, especially as we go towards Global Entrepreneurship Month in November. And again, I wanted to say, by the way, just as a passing comment, that I met, or at least I saw Hetty and Papi on top billing. I mean, how brilliant in terms of where they've gone and taken their story. So it's incredible that this is the point ultimately that of why we're doing this. It's about getting that momentum and building that drive for people to see familiarity and success, and for it to have reach. We've got these tools now. We now live on this platform through the studio, but we're going out to Facebook, to YouTube, and thanks to everybody who tunes in to a lot of the post production sessions. They already are reaching over thousands of people, so we know that these things matter. You also give us your feedback. So we've done a number of surveys with people who've tuned into these sessions, and we've learned so much in terms of how we can continue to improve the production as well as the product itself. And again, for me, as a closing kind of question and comment, maybe two things I wanna check, because again, I know initially in your presentation you felt a little bit rushed about kind of talking about the working together as a husband and wife team in a business, and I want to kind of maybe take a step back and those people who are trying to kind of get together, those couples, those people who are working together. What are the tips of advice would you give young couples or older couples working together in a business?
Okay, so practical advice number one: respect. Respect each other. Without respect, nothing can grow from there, because you guys need to respect each other's talents, respect each other's voices. Because just because I'm a female, it doesn't mean I have, a smaller voice and he has a bigger voice. No, respect is big for us. And defining the roles, it's very important. If the roles are not clear and all of us are doing everything, nobody's doing anything. So that for us is super important. And yeah, loyalty and friendship. So if you don't have friendship, you can't communicate. Communication is everything. I mean, I sell communication. That's how businesses, communication is everything. So it's important that you guys spend time together outside of work and work on your relationship. But it's also very important to bring that, that energy back at work. Not to say there aren't any disputes, but continually be open-minded and be willing to hear each other's is it complaints or criticism, constructive criticism, and yeah, just be willing to listen to each other constructively, because sometimes you get offended for no good reason, and that just creates even more unnecessary tension. So over the years we have learned that if we don't know how to communicate, we really can't even run the business together. So communication for us is also everything.
Yeah. And I know one that you guys love because you've been in Cape Town a few times, is that come for some nice Cape Town wine and some nice Cape Town sea every now and then. Use that money to come and spend time with your family, to reconnect and to rekindle that romance. And
that
again,
but
if you are working elsewhere but Johannesburg, Johannesburg is a commercial capital in South Africa. If you're working outside of anywhere else but Johannesburg, make time to go to Johannesburg, because that's where the real business and the core value of doing business is. So if you're running your business in Eastern Cape, or running your business in Cape Town or Free State, make time to go to Johannesburg at least once a month, because that's where it's all happening. Yeah. And again, as a closing for you, Lerato, before we kind of go to next steps, what's the journey now, and where to? What are the next steps for you, Nexatel? I know where the next steps for Thriving are gonna be, because I want to have something to do about it. But the next step for Nexatel and everything that you guys are gonna do now that you've got this net bank opportunity and you now reshaping your business, where to for Nexatel?
So for us right now is accessing larger, clients. So we have medium, small businesses. So we now wanting to scale. So we're ready actually to scale our business. And because our product is a platform, it lives on the internet, it's borderless. And we're ready to get ourselves outside of South Africa and dominate as an African success. So we really want to be a unified cloud communication platform, competing with the likes of Zoom and Teams, and really just going out there as an African success and creating our own platforms that can serve the African and global market as a South African. Yeah.
Amazing. So again, don't forget to reach out to the Hyper team for that. I'm sure someone in my team will be more than happy to help you with that. So with that, I wanna thank you, Lerato, for your time and for the amazing story. And just really the fiber and depth of it. Not only have you inspired the audience, and thanks to the comments that are coming through from Facebook and Twitter, but you've also inspired our team. So I know I've got Dirkie here behind the scenes say, "Hey, Chief, this lady, hey, it's a really keen kind of exciting story." So I appreciate that, and thank you so much for having made the time to be with us here this evening. And again, looking forward to doing many more things along with you and Thriving Network as well. Bongi, also thanks to you for always, you're gonna be, you like me now, so we are just part of the furniture. We're in the backdrop, So thanks again for SMTax. So that again, we're gonna do this again. It's Tourism Month. Any thoughts about Tourism Month?
I want to go somewhere. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Should I go?
Go ahead, Bongi.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that no, I've got absolutely nothing to say except to say I'm excited. It's the right time as well with us opening up. There's a little bit of travel that's been allowed. B&Bs and the like are open. So I think it's timely, and we're going to have a fantastic time.
Oh, brilliant. So everyone, if you are tuning in, you can look forward to seeing Ruth Kamau in September. She heads up Ikaya Lodge, and she also serves as a board member of FEDHASA, which is a hospitality organized association. So again, thank you to Bongi. Thank you to Lerato for this evening. I want to go to my next slide to just to tell you guys what comes up next. I know that if you are tuning in, and next week Wednesday, the CEO of SM Tax, Khula, it will be with us. We're hosting a masterclass, and that masterclass will be as a guideline to small business tax with Khula. So again, you can tune in. If you are interested in that, do send details through to the SM Tax team. Webinars is smtax.co.za. You can also, if you are tuning into these sessions, you'll find it live on Women's Month.co.za. So again, do join us next week, Wednesday, the 2nd of September, a masterclass on small business tax. And naturally, as I already mentioned, do join us for the next conversation. We'll be in conversation with Ruth Kamal from Ikai Lodge on that. Actually is not the correct date, but she'll be on the 10th of September. On the 10th of September, Ruth will be right here with us on Facebook and on Facebook and YouTube. So do join us at this time from 5 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. And without much left, I want to thank my team at Hyba. I want to thank SM Tax, and I want to thank the wonderful production team at DPK for supporting these Kula Growth Club sessions. And with that, thank you and good night.